Here's a fun story. I messed up the audio and had to record this twice, so nobody will ever know what I said the first time around. I am pretty sure that's something like I'm demonstrating a snow farm. It produces 138,000 snowballs an hour, and you're going to need a lot of shovels, and this is the setup. There's a tutorial after this bit, which I can put on the screen now for you to see if you want to jump to that. And this is it working. So, with the snowman, just half a block above the blocks will cover both of them the way he's aligned, and then you have all the snow that you need. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just demonstrating that the snowman's aligned and he's not going anywhere. The tutorial is really the interesting part because I go way more in depth, but that's it working. It's really, really fast, and you're going to need a lot of storage, a lot of it, and probably speed crafting systems. I'll have a video on the design that we use for pretty much everything on our server pretty soon because it's such a pivotal part of a lot of the things we do. But yeah, so in this tutorial I've got my 1 input 16 output system here, which dispenses the snowballs at 144,000 items an hour, which should be more than enough to keep this thing going. But yeah, I'm just going to cut to the tutorial and you can see me using it real quick. So for building this, you're going to want to start off with a 4x4 platform. I like to use blocks. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as you have something to place the hoppers on. So you're going to need 16 of those, and once you got the hoppers on top, you're going to want to take ender chests or something with a smaller size, like just a normal chest might even, well, never mind, a normal chest wouldn't work. A hopper wouldn't be able to suck the items out. Cakes, dragon eggs work as well. To put the minecarts in, you want to put rails in the corners and then just put them in by hand and then just nudge them. After that, you're going to want to put pistons up so that they can remove the rails, just like so. That'll work in all versions of the game. I'm in 1.8, but that should be fine. And then you just got to nudge all of the minecarts into the corners to make sure that they are covering all of the hoppers. You can easily test this by taking green wool is just what I had, whatever item, and just putting it in there by a stack or so and see if it's sucking out. If it's sucking out at 4 items per tick or whatever, then you're just fine. To get out, you'd want an ender pearl, or in this case game mode 3, just any way that doesn't disturb the minecarts. And then after that, you're going to want to power the pistons facing down. I kind of cut it out there, I'm sorry, but it was pretty self-explanatory, just pushing blocks in. And then you want to set up these rails in such a way so that they're facing the cobble walls. I'm doing this a little quick here, but you can reverse it if you miss something, I'm sorry. That is directional down there. There are workarounds, but for this tutorial I'm only going to be focusing on this direction. I'm sorry for that, but again, not a huge deal. So you want to put pistons facing in, just like so. I had to record this part twice because I messed it up. Do not forget to do this part first. You got to remove the rails and then push blocks in. But once you do that, you're just fine. You got pistons pushed, you don't need those anymore, and then just surround it in blocks so that you don't mess up the hopper, minecarts, or anything like that. And then just put the blocks just like so, and then they're all safe. Now, those cobble walls are both necessary for the building process with the minecarts, and they'll also be used to prop the snowman up. So what we'll be doing here is placing a block for the snowman to be on and then surrounding it with other blocks. So I used pistons because in a different world, different situation, I couldn't place the pane against the block. I had to actually use a piston, which was really weird, but in this case it turned out that just placing it against the block was fine, and then it was perfect. Remove the block underneath, and then the snowman just drops right into place. You'll be covering both those layers so that you can break them as you need, and it'll be totally perfect. He'll be out of your way and he'll never move, and you only need one snowman, which is better than other designs. So now that you've got that done, you can remove the blocks under the hoppers and begin the wiring process. You're going to need 8 droppers, 8 more hoppers, and then a bunch of redstone and repeaters and comparators, and then building blocks. I meant to cut that part out. I apologize, but here's a speedy up bit to make this a little bit less painful. You want to put the droppers in facing straight down, or else you want to have room. Don't forget the hoppers facing into the side, like I almost did. And then, of course, just do the wiring, which is sped up for you right here. I've shown this many times before on my channel, so if you're familiar with me, then you might have seen that before. If you had items in there, they should all shoot out at this point, and then you can see that it completely works. So, one last thing to set up is the distribution for the shovels, because you're going to need a lot of them. I recommend iron shovels because they're very cheap, very easy to get in bulk, and you're going to need a lot of shovels for this design. So what I've set up is something nearby the player. You're going to be clipping the corner of it, and then a pressure plate in front of a dropper, and then there will be a torch underneath that to power the dropper. So what will happen here is the dropper will shoot out a shovel that'll power off the torch, and then 12 seconds later or so you'll use up your shovel, and then you'll pick it up again and that'll shoot out a new one. This doesn't work in very high speed scenarios, so if you picked them up in creative over and over, it wouldn't hit the pressure plate and then it would break. I think I demonstrate that here. I don't, yeah, there you go. So that's kind of how it works, but if you were to spam that, it would easily break. But for our purposes, this works perfectly. I'm just filling up the dropper here. On our world, we have a lot of shovels. I did a system for that. And here's just one more demonstration of the farm working. So that's exactly how it'll work, and that's what we have in our world, and I had a little trouble here. So I had to record this audio twice, that's why I'm speaking in past tense. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and thanks for watching.